Yeah, let's get started. Hi, everyone. My name is Federico, and this is the weekly Cuttle livestream. I wanted to continue with the series of the finger joints kit that we were doing before, and the inspiration came from a couple of questions that we got on the Cuttle support. People were asking about making sort of like shadow boxes or kind of like dioramas using the finger joints kit. And I thought I would make like a relatively simple project to kind of get you started with that. So I think you would think the finger joints kit is very like kind of mechanical or something, but I think you can have like a sort of artistic kind of flair to it. The image I have here on the screen is mostly for inspiration. I'm not going to be doing anything as complex as what I can see here. I think I want to try and make it a little bit simpler. But the basic idea I have is that, we would have like different layers that would be placed, one behind the other one. And then we want like a nice and secure way to place those layers. I know a lot of sort of this is another inspiration where like it's a little kind of three-dimensional diorama. This one is paper, but I know a lot of them can be in boxes like this, and I've seen like a lot of files are like a box system to create your like multi-layer. And I think the one I want to work on today, it's compatible with this idea, but I also wanted to keep it simple and just do kind of like a kind of freestanding version. So here's my idea. I'm going to show you a version on paper first, and then we kind of go from there. Let me show you my overhead camera here. So here's my idea. I want to have like a base. Well, that paper is not very contrasty on my background, but so I want to have like a base where things are going to go. And then I want to have like, I made this one with Post-its. I want to have like several layers. Let's say something like this. This is just my background. So kind of like a sort of mountain kind of system, kind of like a very simple landscape type thing. And what I want these layers to be doing is I want them to be sort of standing. So let me place my Post-it here. So I kind of like, I want a way to place it on my base so I can get that layer to stand up like this. And then the next layer would be like here. I kind of bend it like so. So that one is standing. It has a little bit of space in between, a little bit of space in between the two layers. And then I would have another one here that would be standing like that as well. So I get this kind of, horizon or like effect of like things being behind other things. So this would be like my paper mock-up. I think you can like sort of get the sense of where I want to do. So I'm going to start by just making the base. So the idea here is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to find that finger joints kit. I just had the link open, but if you're looking for the finger joints kit, you can always go to templates. Then you'll find it in laser cut boxes, in the laser cut boxes category. And then there is the finger joints kit. This one, unlike other templates, doesn't have like a thing you can download right away. You need to open it in the Cuttle editor to start working with it. So I need to click this button, open in Cuttle editor. And whenever you open a project, you're going to get this message down here that says copy this project. And then when you do that, you hit copy this project, it will save a copy to your private folder. So then all your changes will be saved. So I'm gonna give it a name. I'm gonna call it Layered Mountains, maybe. That's a good start. So I'm gonna start with the base. The finger joint, the finger joint kit comes with just these three components. So we get those finger joints, outer, and slots, and then we just get a blank component for the design. I'm going to just rename that blank component. I'm going to call it the base. And my base is going to be super simple. I just want a rectangle. I'm going to grab a rectangle, place it in the middle. Actually, I'm going to place it like this. Just a little I just moved the origin point, so it just starts from, it kind of grows towards the bottom. And I want to have a base that is like 4 by 2 inches. So I can just type my dimension here. So 4, then by 2, zoom out. And so the idea with my base is that I want to have those slots where I'm going to be placing my layers. So I can simply drag the finger joint slots over here. And the way this one goes is you just stretch, one, you make sure that the points snap to the corners. So I want to snap them like that. One thing I'm going to do is I'm going to be using the usual chipboard, the kind of inexpensive cardboard that I tend to use. So I know that the thickness for that is 0.052 inches. So that kind of gives me a sense of how big the slots are going to be. And the finger joint slots has this kind of additional parameter here that is the offset. So it offsets the slots in relationship to the points that you snap them to. So I'm gonna offset them by what I was thinking, a 1/4 inch, 0.25 inches. So that would be the offset from the edge. So that moves them down. And I'm going to change the tab width. I like a few more tabs for my 0.4. So it'll be like the place where, say, my back layer is going to go. And then I'm just going to repeat it. I want to make 4 layers. So I can, while the finger joint is selected, I can go to modify and apply the linear repeat. So the linear repeat just repeats the same component by any amount. You can like manipulate it by moving this displacement point, which is kind of fun. But if you want to be more precise, then you can always change the parameters over here. So I want only 4. So I'm going to change the repetitions to 4. And I want the distance between each one of them to be about, let's see, 1/2 inch. I think I think 1/2 inch brings it too far out. I'm going to do 0.4 inches. So I have like a little space in front. And really that's all I need for the base. It's just like a rectangle with some slots. Now the kind of intermediate step is that I want to create like something that just goes on there to test it. So I'm going to go ahead and create another component by clicking the plus over here. And I'm just going to call that one like a tab. Like before I get into the mountains, I just want to create a simple tab. I'm going to move it here to reorder it. And my tab is going to be another rectangle. So let's grab a rectangle. It's also going to be 4 inches. Remember that the way the finger joints kit works is that like the sides need to be the same length for the slots and finger joints to match. And let's make it 1/2 inch. So I'm going to create another component called the cut so I can show you the idea. So the idea is that I have this base. I'll be cutting this base. And then I'm going to have like a tab. And I want that tab to have slots that match, to have like little fingers that match those slots. So the very easy way to do it is to simply grab finger joints component and then make it snap to the corners. I think I covered this one on the last live stream, and that's totally fine. That works. We can like select everything, then Boolean union, really quick. No big. It works well in this case. I might want to build in the possibility of changing the size eventually, and this way it doesn't really work that well because when you change the size, the slots get kind of distorted. So let me undo the things that I did. And instead of just slapping the joints in there, I'm going to go ahead and apply the modifier that comes built into the kit called Replace Edges. And so with Replace Edges, what you get is this list of things here. So you get a list, and each item in the list corresponds to one edge of the shape. So essentially we get that this line corresponds to these. And then if we type something else, then it's going to correspond to the next one. So I'm going to type line, finger joints, and then I'm just going to type line again. So as you can see, the thing that happened here is that I replaced, this remains a line, this remains a line, but then this one, it turns into finger joints. And then the last one just is, it's just a line. So that's just like the quick replace edges method for making that tab. So now if I go to my cut, you can see that I have the base, and then I probably want to have 4 of those tabs. And notice that it is matching because it's the same length. So I can just grab 4 of those. And I can, when I go to go, I can just like export the SVG or copy and paste it onto the Glowforge. And so I did go ahead and cut that one just to show you. So here we go. We have that base, and we have those 4 tabs that have no decoration, but I just wanted to test it. So that kind of slots in there nicely. Just gonna like snap them all. Relatively quick. I could see how this could be used for other things, like I don't know, like some sort of organizer or something like that. But it was just like a really quick way to like, go from a flat design to kind of like a three-dimensional design that is cuttable. So we got these. So now the next step I want to do is like add those like, kind of interesting shapes and mountains in there. So I want to show you how I made them first, because change here, because I actually didn't do it in Cuttle. I kind of cheated a little bit, I guess. I did it in Procreate because it seemed like an easy way. So I recorded a quick video to show you the process. So I just kind of started by sketching out the mountains real quick. Actually, I should restart the video. I started with a canvas that was 4x3. And then I sketched the mountains. And then on separate layers, I just colored them in. So this goes really fast, but like my end result is that I ended up with these, 1, 2, 3, 4 layers in different colors. And so the final image looks like these. So I got the 4 layers and the background. And then in Procreate, if you separate, because the mountains are separated 1 per layer, there's an option to export layers as individual files. So what I got was these. So I got 1, 2, 3, and 4. So 4 separate images. I exported a transparent PNG, so it doesn't have a background. Not that it's going to matter too much. And so what I get here is that let me go back to Cuttle. So yeah, the idea there is that I just wanted an easy way to sketch it with my hand. I could do it in Cuttle, but why not? Why not incorporate another program? So what I want to do now is like bring those mountains into Cuttle. So I don't want the cut anymore. I don't need these tabs. I'm going to create another component. Should call it mountains. And so I'm going to go to File, Import SVG or image. I need to find the mountains folder that I placed right here. And so I'm just going to bring one at a time. So this is the layer number 1. And sizing with images is a little tricky. So in Procreate, it might have been 4 inches, but like here it turned into 25 inches. So what I can do is, I could resize it at any time, actually. I could just trace it, start by tracing it. So I'm going to go to Edit, and then there is this new trace image. So I'm going to select that, click on it. Gives me a little warning. I'm going to say trace it anyway, see what happens. And that looks good. So I get the trace here, and I get the image here. So I'm gonna delete the image, and this is my traced path, and I can make it 4 inches. So I'm just gonna select that and hit 4. So that's one. That's one layer. So once I have this one layer, the idea that I need to do is that I already created this tab, so I can bring the tab in, and then just make sure I place it matching this shape. And at this point, I could actually just join it, which is, I feel like, the most straightforward thing to do. Just go ahead and Boolean union. And so then I get the tabbed mountain that I wanted. I guess you would think that oops, sorry, didn't want that. One option would be, say, to try and use the replace edges on these. Let me delete the tab. And replace edges doesn't deal well, or it doesn't deal at all with curves. So let me just try it just to show you. So I'm gonna put the replace edges modifier. So notice how it kind of flattened all the curves to the best it could. And if I were to do the same thing here, like add the finger joints, it doesn't behave kind of like the way we want it, because it tries to put finger joints on those flattened things of the curve, and then so anyway, that's just to say probably not the way to go. So I'm gonna delete that replace edges. So I'm just gonna go ahead with my tab method. Just gonna place the tab where I want it, and then apply the union. So that's layer 1, and so I went ahead and cut the base and layer 1. No, actually, I cut this one. So this is what it looks like. Let me just check that if anyone has any questions. Yeah, we're good. So you can see the mountain here, and the idea I have is that I could just bring it in here. Let me change this. So I could just bring it in here and then replace the rear tab that I cut, and it should go in there because we made it the same size. All right, so I got the tab, it fits. So there we go. So that's my mountain. The thing I need to do now is the same for the other layers. So let's do that. So I'm gonna repeat the operation. I'm just gonna keep it in the same component for now. So I'm gonna go to File, Import Image. I'm gonna go for layer 2. Once again, it comes in really big. Let's trace it first. So trace image. It looks good. So here's my path over here. Here's my image. I'm gonna delete the image, and let's make it 4 inches wide. So that's the other one. You could just place it here. Then let's just repeat the operation for the rest of them. So I'm gonna import my image, layer 3. I don't know if this color thing might bite me in the butt later, but let's carry on with this. So trace image. It did a good job. Move it aside, delete the previous image, and let's make it 4 inches wide. I'm just placing them like this because I wanted to see the sort of preview, the SVG preview in Cuttle. And let's do the last one. So layer number 4. Let's trace it. Looks good. I'm gonna move it aside, delete the image, and let's make it 4 inches wide. 4, enter. So I think this is what I want. Now the work is just to add finger joints to each one of them. So Here are all my mountains. Let's play them side by side for the time being. So I was just thinking, yeah, so I'm gonna do the same thing. So I'm gonna bring the tab in, make sure this snaps to the center. I'm gonna do the same to this one. Bring the tab in, make sure it snaps to the midpoint. And let's do the tab with this one. Make sure it snaps. Oh yeah, so here I run into trouble because like I made the tab bigger. My thought is that with the tab, you might want to add like features to the tab within Cuttle. Let me explain. So I was thinking like, for example, like I designed all these images in Procreate, but like maybe at some point I would want to like grab the tab and just make them happen here, like with just simple shapes. So you could like add your simple shapes like so, and then you could add it like, and then you could like union them. That was my kind of train of thought, like so. But then with this one, I kind of run into trouble, which is not a big deal. What I can do instead of using the tab is simply to use the finger joints component the same way we did it before. So I can grab the finger joints component and then snap the points to the edges of that particular one. That's gonna make it 4 inches wide. All right. So now I can union this one. I'm gonna do them all separately just so I can move them around. This one and this one. Make sure those points are where I want them. Yeah, so that's snapping to that corner. Good. And this one should snap to the corner. Nice. So let's union that one. Cool. And so, oh, I noticed that I have like a little thing here from my tracing. Let me fix that. So I'm gonna ungroup that. So it looks like this path is a compound path. I'm gonna release it. Release compound path. So that means I have this little guy like floating about. That was like an artifact of the tracing. Yeah, I probably scribbled something in Procreate and that ended up being traced as well. So yeah, look at those little like kind of floating islands. Let's delete it. I don't want it to be like messing around with my cuts. And let's finish it by doing the Boolean union. I lost the color, but that's fine. Cool. So now that I have these components as the different layers, I can move over to my cut component, and I want all those mountains. So I can place them in the laser cutter. One trick here is that I don't want all these colors to be messing with all the different operations. I just want it to be one. So I can just select that component and then say I don't want, with the component selected, I can select the fill option and either give them the same fill or simply say I don't want to fill. And I want them all also to have the same stroke attribute. So I'm going to select that, and so I'll make it black. And that way, now when I send these to the laser cutter, they're all the same color, so I only have to select one operation. But then still the mountains component, if I switch to it, it retains the colors. That's just like a way in which you can apply different things to components. One other little like nicety I wanted to add is that I think the base looks a little nicer with rounded corners. So that's a simple one. I can just hit the rectangle, go to modify, and round the corners. Maybe that's too much rounding because it can get, my mountain can like get here and not look so nice. So I'm gonna just reduce the radius for the corners. And my cut is ready to go. So here I have it. So here's the base with the rounded corners. Then I have, let me grab this one. So I have the previous layer. Then I think I have the mid layer, the other one, and then this one. I'm looking at the screen to see what's the front side. One quick tip. I tend to use this chipboard a lot because it's inexpensive and easy to prototype with. But it has one downside, and is that it does get a little sooty, like with the laser cutter. So like, check this out. If I rub my finger here, look at that. It's just very very sooty, and that's like a annoying little dust. The trick I found out is that, or that I came up with, I guess, is that there is this stuff called Kneaded Eraser. Like, artists use this kind of stuff. This is like, it behaves like a regular eraser. Like, if I write with that pencil, I can actually erase this stuff with it. So it behaves like an eraser, which is fun. But I think artists use it by, like, having it, shaping it in different ways, and like people that do like charcoals with like kind of stamp things to like dab. And so what I found is that this particular eraser does a really good job at the suit. I think the idea came from like seeing people erase charcoal with it. And so I was like, oh, well, this is charcoal. So if you rub it like this, all the soot just like gets absorbed by the eraser, so it doesn't fly everywhere. And then I end up with like a relatively clean surface, a little better than a brush and a vacuum or whatever. And you can actually like shape the eraser to get into the corners like these. Anyway, random tip. But I can finish this off by assembling my project. Let me see. So that's good. I don't know if I left enough space for my like fingers here. I can make it work. This probably would work better with wood, but there's only so many wooden things I can have around the apartment. Check these out. I think it's fun. I mean, this is not like a fully developed like diorama necessarily, but I think it kind of gives you like the basic elements. My thought is that if you wanted to make like a diorama like these that would fit inside a box, these would be a sort of sufficient. I mean, like I could like make a box that is this size and a little taller than these, and this could like land inside of the box. It's an idea. I don't know. Somebody's asking if this eraser will remove soot on wooden edges. Yes, I've done it. It seems to work. And this is crazy. This stuff like lasts forever. Like I have this one literally for like, I don't know, probably like 6 or 7 months. And like it just absorbs all this. Like eventually it just gets too dirty. I mean, to sort of fill that and you have to replace it. But anyway, fun stuff. Yeah, cool. So I think that brings it to an end. That's half an hour. So thank you so much for all your questions and for coming and watching the live stream. I hope this project is fun or interesting. I think it probably give you some ideas. And I kind of like that we wanted to go a little bit like a little mechanical, but like, a little artistic too, which is entertaining. So, yeah. Thank you for watching, and then I will see you in the next one. All right, bye.